Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I am here to address this Anglophone problem. Yeah, it's the second time, I must admit. Actually, I'm not going to talk much today, but something just came to my spirit. Something just came to my mind that I felt like it would be very important for me to put every other thing aside and talk about it or address it at this particular time. I can't wait for dawn to address this issue. Now, in my last, I will start by acknowledging or crediting the efforts of a lot of Anglophone brothers and sisters, especially in the diaspora out there, and others based in the country for their efforts so far. It's been a huge success, no doubt, despite some recorded ills. Like we still have a good number of our brothers suffering in the different La Republic detention units, but we are moving forward. I did address some number of issues in my last video, talking about us delegating some dynamic, some yes, young, dynamic, and determined and focused leaders to lead us in this fight, and the different Anglophone groups uniting and speaking as one in order to push this fight forward, and equally having a sit down or maybe a peaceful demonstration. And I've observed all those things going on so far, and I'm really very grateful, and I want to appreciate the efforts of every Anglophone here in Cameroon and abroad. We are truly getting united, and despite the efforts of La Republic, crude methods to shut our voices and keep us quiet, we just keep going on and on using the best strategies ever. Now, what's my new strategy, or what is that thing different I'm going to talk about today? There is something that just came to me that I felt like I must share it now. Now, I feel like there is a mistake we have been making all along. That strategy that I feel like we should adopt now is we should concentrate on building Ambazonia more than fighting La Republic. I just feel like all along we have been trying to fight La Republic more. It is true we need to do something about La Republic in order to fully build or reinstate Ambazonia. But my one word today, my advice today, is that we concentrate our efforts more on building Ambazonia than fighting La Republic. What am I trying to say here? Instead of fighting, sitting down, doing nothing, and just waiting on them to keep killing us, arresting us, raping us, and making every sort of inhumane acts or injustice on us, we can transfer all that energy into building our own land. Now, I feel like agriculture, we know, is the backbone of our economy. Putting aside every other resource, say crude oil, the forest, and every other thing, we can start by concentrating on that activity that gives us the greatest reward in our country, which is agriculture. Yes, our president did mention that, but I am referring to the southern Cameroon this time. How do we invest more on agriculture? Instead of sitting down or sitting in our homes doing nothing, we get to our farms. I'm referring to farmers or other agriculturalists and maybe agricultural engineers and so on. Please, I really just want to get the attention of the agricultural engineers here and other agricultural experts. Let us use this opportunity to sensitize our local farmers or agriculturalists more on better farming techniques that could yield more or give us more profit, and other methods we could adopt to make our agricultural system more profitable and more lucrative. Now, during this period. From now on, I advise that we educate these farmers on these different measures to adopt. Now we concentrate more on creating or linking our farms to our markets. We just don't bother about what La Republic is doing, whatever. We concentrate on creating those roads. We can get support. I have seen during this strike action that our brothers and sisters in the diaspora could do a lot to help us build Ambazonia. We could get these incentives, or we get aid from our brothers abroad, and maybe find a means to get these resources to the farmers or the local farmers in the suburbs. One thing we are fighting for today is development. We are so angry, we are so disgruntled because our territories are the least developed, I must confess. So we can concentrate our resources on building our own territory than wasting our resources, our time and our energy on fighting La Republic. Now, that said, for agriculture, yes, I said we sensitize the local farmers on agricultural techniques that will yield more or give us more. Concentrate also on building our roads or linking our farms to our markets in order to be able to sell this produce that we will be getting from our farms. Then there's one thing that is killing us in Cameroon is the tax system. Okay, I'm done with agriculture, we move to business. The business individuals, we reorganize or redress our tax systems that will be, business or economic friendly. I am one person, I love business so much, but I have been discouraged so many times in my attempts to do business here in Cameroon. The tax people just keep, the corrupt system, the tax system is so corrupt, it's so dubious that it discourages even the most business conscious individuals. So we could create or rebuild our own tax systems to be business friendly. Now, we choose not to pay taxes to the central unit or La Republic. We create our own tax system. We pay our taxes to maybe our local councils and or other units that we are sure will use these taxes for our own local development. Now, we could also choose, that was for the business individuals. We have a group of persons here in Cameroon who are very business conscious, and just like the Nigerians who are the Bamileke, we know for sure, yes, they are Francophones. Like I said in the onset, this problem is not an Anglophone Francophone problem, but a problem of Anglophone marginalization. So we also have our brothers who at times I feel like are even more marginalized than some of us Anglophones, the Bamileke, because like here in Yaoundé, when you do something odd or something awkward, they don't only say the Bamendas, but they talk of the Bamis as well. So we know the Bamileke people are equally marginalized. So, but one thing I know about them is they are very business conscious, and no matter how terrible things might seem or how discouraging situations might be in Cameroon, we know they are a group of persons that are always successful. Yes, although we complain of marginalization, corruption and discrimination and so on, we still see that in every major region in Cameroon, they are the ones building houses, they are the ones running the biggest businesses in the country and so on. We could learn from them. Business individuals, what are they doing? They pay all these taxes we are complaining about. They are being marginalized as much as we are doing, but they are still better off than some of us, the Anglophones. So we, the Anglophone business people, could learn some of the strategies or the techniques they are using and be as business conscious as them. That is a means to bring about development in our territories or in our regions, the Southern Cameroon or Ambazonia in general. That is it for the business individuals. Now, for the teachers or educators, instead of sitting down doing nothing or expecting some changes or dialogue from La Republic, we could reorganize our educational system to be more realistic, to be more creative, innovative, and so on. For instance, instead of teaching all those vague things that some of us teachers teach in schools, and students graduating the end and they are not even able to do anything in the country, or even out there, when they go out there, they are not competitive enough, they cannot stand the standards out there because of the nonsense we are teaching or learning in our country, we could reorganize our educational systems, our syllabuses or schemes to be more practical, more realistic, geared towards solving our own common problems back at home, rather than just adopting whatever La Republic has to give to us. And obviously at times I feel like even when the ministers say there is no problem, or the basic education minister is French oriented, secondary education and higher education, they are all French oriented, and at times I don't blame them when they say they do not see any problem, because how can they even understand or see a problem when they do not even understand what we are talking about? The French system of education, the English systems of education are different. They are not the same. You cannot try to create a blend between the two. No, the cultures are different. So we are a more practical kind of people. We are not just interested in doing the theoretical theory. No, we want to be more practical. We want to be able to train our children from the basic levels to be able to do something, at least even at the early stage. You should be able to identify your child's potentials and be able to tell from that early age that this is what the child is good in, or the child is more apt in, and this is the kind of school I would like to send my child to. So when the child is about 16, 17, 18 and getting to 20, the child should be more practical and even independent, getting something from his or her talent or ability even before graduation. So that was directed to educators or the education sector. Now, another thing, looking at, for instance, the medical sector or the legal system and so on, I just feel like we know already what is right, the right thing to be done. We should be able to implement that which we believe suits our culture, the legal system, for instance. We should not wait on people to impose on us, give us. No, I just want us to start building, to start planning for our own territory. Now, if La Republic says yes, good and fine, but before that happens, we should be building already our educational system, our legal system, our agricultural sector, and every other sector that we need for development to be instilled or installed. We should be taking care of those different sectors already. Why waiting on La Republic? That is if they have to do something. But we should be able to identify ourselves and as an individual, build our own territory, elect our own leaders. We are democratic. We elect our own leaders, we build our own territory, we pay taxes to the right places, we connect to the people we want to connect to. We shouldn't even expect more from the international community than we can offer. We rely on ourselves more, and if help comes from abroad, good. If any kind of support comes from other foreign countries, good and fine, but we should be able to do something. I mean, we should be able to do more than we expect from others. I think that is just what I would like to say today, but I will emphasize that we concentrate more on our agricultural sector and transportation systems, because transportation is very important when we're talking development, and because we know agriculture is the backbone of our economy, we should try to link these two, transportation and agriculture, link our farms to our markets, farms to markets. Please, we have a lot of, just all those put in place, we will go a long way. And considering I've not even talked about other resources like crude oil and so on, but if we concentrate more on building Ambazonia or Southern Cameroon, West Cameroon, more than fighting La Republic, we will realize we will be running this race faster than relying on them or relying more on the international community and so on. We just do more or put in more than we expect others to do for us, and concentrate more on the agricultural sector, the transportation system, the tax system, and the educational system. Redressing all this, I believe that will be a great start point for us. I wish you all the best, and I believe God is going to help us and take us to the end, and the flag will be raised soon in Jesus' name. Amen.